This is Lazy Fox Creates, a podcast about the crafting experience. I'm your host, Laura, and I'm gonna go all nostalgia over camp crafts today. What I have realized while I was thinking up camp crafts is that I have combined some of my camp crafts with my Pioneer Girls crafts, which is a program that my church growing up had, and I was really into. So some of these aren't actually camp crafts, and I've deceived you, but you have to forgive me because, well, I guess just because I want you to. Anyway, I Googled camp crafts to make sure that I was not missing any important ones, because I had several come to mind. And you know what? Apparently camp crafts are much different than when I was going to camp. I saw a lot of here's I don't know, bubble art or something and making art out of leaves. I don't know. But anyway, the first one that comes to mind when I think of camp crafts is those little lizard beads, which I found out are called pony beads, and I was so fascinated by these. I loved making these lizards, but I had no idea what to do with them after I made them, and I have no idea where any of these things ended up. I have no memory of getting rid of them, or I don't know, putting them anywhere. Um, but you loop a little piece of string through these beads, and it's like this 2D lizard that it ends up with, and I think you could use it for like a keychain maybe. Maybe that's what most people use it as. I don't know, but it's pretty big. It's ends up being maybe like 6 inches long. I mean, obviously you can change that depending on preference, but anyway, they were really cute. And I know you can make different things out of them. Like probably people have like Etsy stores that just have a ton of these. Ooh, I bet they're like kits that you can buy too. Maybe I should do that. I've been thinking about getting like kits for things and talking about it on the podcast. So if anyone has ideas, let me know because I have a Nightmare Before Christmas crochet kit right now. Never crocheted a day in my life. I just bought this thing because I was like, yeah, sure, I can do this. And I'm gonna make one for, oh no, I was gonna make one for my sister's birthday, but that's actually coming up. So maybe I won't get there in time. But Nightmare Before Christmas, I'm thinking of doing a Halloween episode for it. So just a little tease. Um, Another one is perler bead art, and I also had to ask what that was because I had no idea. I'm like sitting here Googling what's that thing called where you melt plastic tubes to make a picture? So it's called perler bead and it's essentially like pixel art. You have like this little plastic platform with a bunch of pillars on it and you put these beads on the pillars, but you do it in a way that it turns out into like an old school pixel image, and then you put I don't know, parchment paper over it or something, and you take an iron and you melt it down and you get like a little picture out of it. And I'm not sure what people use that for either. I'm gonna be totally honest. It was just fun to make. I was really, really bad at it, don't get me wrong. The most I would make is like a heart or a square. Um, but it was fun. I think people make them into like magnets and maybe also keychains. I know I have seen some as ornaments, like for the Christmas tree. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of also want to make some of those. And you know what? I have a bunch of perler beads that I found at the thrift store for super cheap that I could actually use. Maybe I'll do something like that. Um, Something that I did at camp, and I'm so shocked that I was able to do this because I think I was like 10 years old, is that I did wood burning. Isn't that wild? They gave wood burning tools to a 10-year-old. Oh, no one get my camp in trouble, okay? Because it was a cool camp. But yeah, that's kind of crazy to me. We would like in pencil write out whatever we were gonna burn into it. And I think they had us burn in just like where we were from or something and our name and the date. And I think that when I was spelling Michigan, I got the C and the G mixed up, which is something I still have to check to this day. And you know what? I don't know where my wood burning art is either. I I guess I just lost all of the stuff I had when I was a kid, which is really sad. But that was kind of fun, and I don't remember like anything about it other than I was like, "Ooh, I get to use hot tools," and I'm like a 10-year-old. A classic at my camp was Shrinky Dinks, which is coloring with like marker on a plastic cup. It had to be a clear plastic cup. And you would like put them in the oven and they would shrink, aka, Shrinky Dinks. Um, we made these for so long. We would just sit for like hours coloring on these cups, and we were kids, so we weren't allowed to put them in the oven. We would give them to a counselor, and the counselor would disappear into the office that we weren't allowed to go in, where the oven was, and come back out with these magical shrinking discs. And it was a beautiful experience. And there was just something really satisfying about holding those discs. I feel like I could like throw them at a target or something. I don't know why that came to mind, but that's kind of how it felt. However, the most classic thing I ever made at camp was the bear scare. And I looked this up, and apparently no one else calls it this. My camp is the only one who called it a bear scare. Um, I found out that the lace that was used for this is called Leicester lace. So I'm gonna include images in the description, but if you want to just look it up, look up that Leicester lace. These things, what an experience, because this was just something to do with your hands at all times. And you know what a young ADHD child, obviously undiagnosed, so unmedicated. I don't know if they give children ADHD meds, probably. Um, there is nothing more that I wanted from life than to do things with my hands, and this was beautiful, and you could make it looser or tighter depending on how you wanted the end result to be, which was beautiful. Um, we had what we called the tuck shop because the adults didn't trust us with money. So our parents would give money to the camp, and then that would be turned into money you could use at the tuck shop. I have no idea if that's normal amongst camps because this is the only camp that I ever went to. Um, but that's how it worked at our camp. And there was this huge, like, metal cabinet thing where it was so magical because it had all this Leicester lace in it, and it had, like, little slots where you would pull it out, and there was, like, a big ruler so you could, like, measure how much you needed, and it got stuck all the time, so we had to, like, fight with it to get any of this lace out of it. Which, like, at the time was infuriating, but now when I think back about it, I'm like, "Ooh, nostalgia, thank you." And you could buy so much of this lace from the tuck shop, and it was kinda like a, I don't know, almost like a culture thing to just always be making these bear scares. I'm really curious if other camps were like this. Like, please let me know. I'm so serious right now. Oh, tell me what crafts you made at camp. That's what I want to know. Any person listening to this, go into the Discord, or um tag me on Blue Sky and show me pictures or just describe it. It doesn't matter. I want to know what you made at camp. I know that I made way more things at camp because I always um chose the crafting activity. But those are like the main ones that really stick out to me, you know. And those bear scares. Three of the five things on this list, I'm like, I want to go do that again, but there is nothing that I want to do more than make these bear scares. So I might do it later. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this. Like I've enjoyed making it. I love y'all. Go on, make something.